All right, we are back for another card video. This is Brandon with Red 5 Rips. I'm here with Ken. We actually have a video where Ken gave us his least favorite or ugliest card designs from the 80s and to what, 94-ish, 95, something like that. So that's what I did. So I was tasked with coming up with the best looking designs. I do want to start off with some honorable mentions, though. Okay? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I actually have some examples of the cards for honorable mentions. So I'm going to put out the 1988
Red,
Fleer.
white, blue.
Fleer, yeah. It's an honorable out of all the Fleers. I felt that it was decent. I do have one other Fleer. The 88 Donruss has sort of grown on me. The baseball design on the sides. And just the black border, I thought was a sharp design.
Very hard to get a good graded one.
Yep. And then an early Donruss, I wanted to look back and see what I thought was the best kind of basic Donruss card. And the reason I chose this one was because it has the ball. I think the 81 had the glove, or maybe it was 83, but I thought the ball was actually the best looking. And it is basic, but I thought it was okay for an early 80s card, and it had the bat and ball on the bottom. So that was an honorable mention. And then another one is the 1990 Topps.
40th anniversary.
91 Topps. Yep, the 40th anniversary. I thought this one was an honorable mention as well. So those are my honorable mentions. I'm going to take them off the screen, or not screen, but the mat here. And I will start with my number 10 best looking card, in my opinion. I think I have them in the order. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have them in order. All right. This is 1992 Stadium Club. So I wanted to get a Stadium Club card in there, and I thought this one looked the best. It's basic, but I thought this was just the best. I liked how the logos didn't take away from the really, really pretty.
The good thing is it focuses on the photography.
Yeah. So I thought it, and it didn't take away a lot from the photography.
On the back, you had the Kodak logo.
Yep.
And
it also had like their Topps rookie card on the back.
Does it have Kodak on it? Or did they stop on it?
Maybe it wasn't this year. Maybe it was 90. But anyway, so that was number 10. Number 9, I'm going to go with a very controversial design, 1987 Topps. So it was sort of, you either loved it or hated it with the wood grain, okay? And the wood grain is, either you love it or you hate it, I think. I sort of like it. I think it's a cool design out of the mid to late 80s Topps.
The feeling on it's coming back. You see it in a lot of the newer cards where they're doing reprints or inserts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm somebody that says, yeah, I would probably put it in the top 10.
All right, so there's that. All right, number 8, and I actually think this was a tough one. I wanted to choose some upper deck cards on here, obviously, and this one was the lesser of the upper decks in the top 10. There is another upper deck. This is 91 upper deck, and I'll tell you why I took away from this one and the versus the other one. I didn't like how it was this corner. I've never liked how the corner down here is sort of odd with the base design. It's sort of odd right here. I just think it's really, but I think it's a pretty design, but I don't think it's quite as pretty as the other one that I'm going to do. So that was my...
And just a little background. In 1989, when Upper Deck came out with their first baseball series, they forced Topps' hand.
Sneeze. There we go. You okay?
Yep.
All right.
Forced Topps' hand in producing a upper scale, higher line of baseball cards. And that's why Stadium Club came out.
Yep. All right. So number, 10, 9, 8. Now number 7 on my list is 1989 Bowman. So I know this is also, I know it's computational because it's the larger size. It's not a typical size. And some people find it hard to read the names on the front. I do agree with that, but I actually think it's unique in that regard. That it actually has their autograph on the front. Now, sure, could they have done it in a different color or something to make it stand out a little bit more? I can get that, but I think it's a really nice card design. It almost harkens back to like the 60s, in my opinion.
I will say the larger size card doesn't bother me. Of course, it was always a nuisance trying to find something to put it in to protect it.
Yeah.
But with the names on it,
it is hard to read.
I'd rather gouge my eyes out and try to read. I don't know that I would put it in the top 10, but I understand why you did.
Okay. All right, so number 6. So this is going back a little bit. So this is 1984 Topps. I really like this design. I like the dual pictures. I like that there is the team logo down the left side. Yeah, there's, I don't know. I just like the close-up picture of them as well. And it harkens back to another design that I'm also going to have in the top 5. So this is number 6. Any disagreement there?
No. In graphic design, you never stack type, but it works there.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a team name that was really long,
right,
it would be a little less appealing visually.
Right.
Cubs, Braves, Mets, all of that stuff. It works really well.
Yep. All right, so I'll put these down here. And all right, so number 5, top 5, here we go. All right, so number 5, 1986 Topps. I think it's just a really, the top logo, or not logo, but the name of the team, having the team name at the top in big bold letters in black, and they do have different colors here depending on they sync up with the team. So they always go well with the pictures, in my opinion. So like if you remember the Jose Canseco card, he's in his yellow A's jersey, and then the A at the top is yellow. I just think these cards always went well with the picture, and their name is nice and big, and it's easy to see. So that's my opinion.
Very, very snazzy looking card. The only drawback to them was the black touching the edges of the card, which makes it hard to grade sometime. But
yeah,
it's a nice.
We didn't care about grading back then.
No, we didn't.
So, all right. So here's the other Upper Deck card. It's number 4. I chose 90 Upper Deck. It's not the most popular Upper Deck, I guess set. The 89 set is probably more popular. But I like it the best because I think it's the most simple. As I was looking at the Upper Deck designs right next to each other, this one was the most simple, and just there wasn't a lot going on to take away from the picture. And I really like that the logo. I like the baseball over the whereas there was a base.
It's a little cleaner than the 92 one. Or
and
91.
It doesn't, and so this one also doesn't have the dirt.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose this one. Just it's a little bit more plain, and I think it's easier to read the name as well, in my opinion. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're shiny.
Yep.
I think it's easier to read the name. That's why I chose
90 is one of the most famous designs.
All right, we're in the top 3 now. We're in the top 3. Here we go. So this also might be a little bit odd, but I really not like the 1983 Topps. It's old school. It's sort of classic looking. It does have the team name a little bit lower. It's not as bold as the previous 1985. As you can see, the differences. So it does go a little bit against the whole stacking of the words that you mentioned, but it also has the color. It kind of meshes with, like, this would be blue on Braves, and it would be a different color on other teams. So I think it just the pictures always go well together, and having the multiple pictures is just cool.
I think the dual photos are great, especially if you don't have a photograph on the back of the card.
Yeah. Well, back then they didn't. Yeah.
Right. But some of the ones that came out in our time did have photos on the back.
Yep.
But if you didn't have a photo on the back, the dual photos on the front was very nice.
Yep.
I like that the accents go with the team colors.
Yep.
That's always a good. Fleer also had the same year, I think. Is that 83?
Yes.
Fleer has a circular image in it, or something, a dual image of some
something.
sort.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think I was trying to actually find an 83 Fleer, but I could not. I did not have an example.
I think you had an S. Amberg, but nevertheless.
Maybe. All right, so number 2. All right. I chose 1985 Topps. I have always just really enjoyed this set. I love that the team name, while I do like that the team name is a little bit smaller in this version and this card, because there's a whole other picture here. It doesn't take away from the two pictures. But this one, the team name is nice and bold. It matches, the colors match the team. And it actually, like in this instance, the Braves logo is kind of like an old school logo, and it has the nice team logo here. Whereas there aren't a lot of logos. It actually sort of reminds me of the upper deck here. I do like logos on the front of the cards for some reason. That's also why I like the 87, or one of them. So yeah, I just like this. I like the logo here, or the team name. I'm sorry, the team name.
The kind of pennant look of the Braves.
Yep.
Definitely looks cool, and the team logo on the front definitely. I think if you don't have a dual image on the front, I think the logo is definitely something that adds to it. Very cool card.
Yep. All right, and so what I consider to be the most beautiful baseball card between 1980 and 1994 is 1993 Studio. I love this set. I love that all the backgrounds were the logos. Again, we talk about the logos again. The logos are big and bold, and like with this Ken Griffey Jr., the signature is easy to read. Technically, again, I know you may not like it because it might be harder to read because it's sort of like the Bowman. I always loved the
Turn around, let's see the back of that thing.
Yeah, and so that's also another highlight. The backs were really cool. They were always like really close pictures of the player. So, and they didn't have a ton of stats and stuff. Unlike these backs, it was just more information about the player as far as their like little trivia questions about the player. So. This was my favorite set, and luckily I actually was able to get a box of this back in 1993 and put the set together by having one single box. And I just loved the way the backs looked, and I loved having their autographs here because, while it wasn't the real autograph, at least you could see what their autograph really did look like. So that's my opinion. That was the best looking card between those years. 95 Studio that we opened up some of those earlier today. They're also beautiful. I still don't think they're as good looking as this year, but that's my opinion. Any final word on that?
Well, up until you showed me the last one, I was going to think if it's not Upper Decker Topps, no need to apply, because Bowman and Stadium Club are all produced by Topps trading cards. So most of what you have up there is the Topps company.
It's true.
Other than 3 of them, actually.
Yep.
But when you get up into the early to mid 90s, it went from classic designs of the early 80s. You had the wood grain, still simple.
Yep.
You had your honorable mentions of the 88 Fleer.
Yep.
But all of a sudden, the idea of computer graphics made things start looking tacky. And you found that most of those made it into the unpopular list.
Right.
But coming out of that was a march in the opposite direction, and that's where you got your studio, your Flair, your studios, even some of your Leaf stuff.
Yep.
All of those focused on the photography versus the
design on the card,
the actual design elements, and that's really what you want. Now later on, when you get into the late 90s and the 2000s, you got die cuts, you got opaque, clear vellum type cards, and now we're inserting pieces of jersey in them.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree. Very nice.
So yeah, I sort of, while I could argue that probably like Stadium Club, the other years of Stadium Club were prettier cards than some of these, I think that the classic look and like how the designs influenced stuff going forward, I think that's why I kind of went back to some of the classic designs and chose the best of those, in my opinion. So yeah, so all right, well, we'll wrap that up here. This was a fun video, and we'll have a great day.